Yeah.
All right, Ron, you go ahead. We'll get started.
Okay, so hi, welcome everyone to this talk on how to grow your yoga therapy practice in 2023. My name is Ron Bacht, and I am the founder of My Yoga Network. I also founded the Long Beach School of Yoga. I've been in the yoga business for about 16 years. I've studied internationally, and I have trained over 150 yoga teachers. And I started my own business. I ran a lot of marketing for my business, so I have a lot of background in building businesses, or at least in the yoga field. And um, I during in 2020, I started to think that, I think yoga therapy needs to have more awareness around the country, because I noticed that there are a lot of yoga therapists out there who are really well trained. They have a lot of good experience, but they don't know how to reach for example, the doctors, and the doctors don't know that they exist. A friend of mine had Parkinson's disease. His father had Parkinson's disease, and his doctor recommended yoga, but he didn't know where to do any yoga, and they didn't know where to refer yoga therapists from. So I figured that I think this is a problem that I can help solve. And um, and so basically, I contacted John, who is a business development expert. He's built two nationally ranked companies in the United States, and he helps other people grow their businesses. And that's how we started to build My Yoga Network. And John is here to talk to you guys about the field and what we're seeing out in our outreach so far. So, John, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you all for attending. Good morning, TGIF and all that. So what we want to talk about today is how do you grow your yoga practice? One of the things that I know, having talked to yoga therapists around the country, is that everyone is in the same boat, meaning there are two challenges. The first is the awareness of yoga therapy. To most people, yoga and yoga therapy are the same thing. They don't know the difference. So that is one challenge. And the second is, how do you grow your individual practice? So these are the things that we're going to talk about in this call. I think it's going to be very powerful for you. The other people that we've had, this is the third meeting, and we've had mixed amount of groups, but everybody's come away from this with some really good ideas on how they can do it. And so I'll share that with you as we go. But the first thing you want to you want to think about is, how do you structure your yoga practice, right? How do you structure your yoga therapy practice, your business? And the best way to do that is either with a need or a niche. If you're in an area that has a drought, for example, and you've got water, you're filling a need, you're going to be very successful. But what we want to focus on is a niche. Now, yoga therapy in itself is a niche because it's a niche within yoga, and it's a niche within therapies and sort of the medical community. But we want to bring that down a little bit. So what you really want to do to be successful is have a specific area of yoga therapy that is your niche, your specialty. It can be back pain, it can be PTSD, it can be cancer patients, whatever it is. That is what you want to make your specialty, because that is really what you're marketing, and not yoga therapy. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. And I'm also going to talk to you the on-ramp. What is the on-ramp to yoga therapy? But what I want to talk to you about now is this niche. So in trying to figure out what niche you have, there's two ways. One, it can be something you're passionate about. I had a sister that had breast cancer. She survived, but I'm aware of that. I'm passionate about that. I'm committed to people in that situation. It could be something you're passionate about, or it could be something that is in your area. For example, if you're in an area that has a military community, PTSD might be an area where there's a large client base, basically. But you want to find your niche, and then as you're marketing, you're putting that niche first. So if you're we're going to use for our example here PTSD. That's going to be our niche. When I'm marketing things, I'm marketing information about PTSD, really, not yoga therapy. PTSD is my lead in, and yoga therapy is the solution. But you want to have a niche, and that is what you're marketing. Okay. Now, how do you market it, or where do you market it? Now, social media is a necessary evil, is the best way I can explain it. If you are selling online courses, if you're in a rural community, for example, and all of your patients are online, it's a real important thing. But if you're in a city like Cleveland or others, and you're really focused on your local market, social media has a role to play, though it's a little different. But what it's first, the primary thing it should be for a yoga practice is credibility. Because if you go out there and you talk to someone about yoga therapy and you give them a business card, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to come home and Google you. And they expect that you're going to be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And so it adds really a credibility, if you will. But how do you, so you need to have that, but how do you get patients off of social media? Well, one is, as I mentioned, and I'm going to show you a technique in a second, but one is you're positioning your niche on social media. You're talking about your niche on social media, not just yoga therapy. And in regards to that, let me step away for 1 second. If you're doing PTSD and that's your niche, let's say there's, if you'll see wellness fairs and stuff like that in your community, you might go to them. But if you're doing PTSD and there's a PTSD conference in your area, you want to go to that because that is your specialty, that is your niche. And then you're meeting people in PTSD and you're passing them your business card and letting them know about, how yoga therapy can help you. Okay. So again, whatever your niche is, that's the front. But back to social media. So where are you going to put social media? So you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on Instagram and Twitter. I would not recommend YouTube, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lady on YouTube, his name is Laura, and she has a lot of very good yoga therapy videos, but they don't get any traction. And the reason is because nobody's looking for yoga therapy. They don't know what it is. They're looking for yoga, but they're not searching for yoga therapy, so it's not popping up. But where are they looking? Well, here they go. I have a client of mine in Michigan, and they do clinical trials for various vaccine stuff like Moderna. They do the trial, they get the patients. Where do they get their patients? I found this out the other week, and it surprised me because I haven't used this website in a long time, but they use Craigslist. And the reason is because most of their patients are older, as many of yours probably will be, and they're still on Craigslist. Plus, it's specific to their location. You can search in your community. So my thinking here is when you're looking at social media, you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on Instagram, wherever, because it's giving you credibility, but you want to go into your community, not just Craigslist. There are a lot of smaller local social media things out there. There, in Cleveland, Chicago, whatever. There are social media platforms that are just specific to that community or that city or that geographic region. That's where I would spend most of my time on social media, because just like these guys in Michigan get patients off of Craigslist, that's how they're doing it. They're not getting it off of Facebook. They're getting it off of something that's localized to where they are. So that's an important point. But let's talk about the technique for getting that. Okay, so you go into, we'll use Facebook or Twitter. You're going in there and you're posting maybe some cool graphics. You're posting about PTSD. You're posting about yoga therapy, but you're not really getting a lot of traction. There's a reason for that. Especially after COVID, people have a little bit of social media burnout, and people don't want things thrown at them. The companies that keep putting out social media that says discount, sale, promotion are losing the game. There is a technique that, Adam, I'm going to teach it to you right now. There's a technique that will blow up your social media and actually get you patients on places like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And it's very simple, and I'm going to show it to you, but I want to tell you the results I had. Back in January, I was working with a company that was an electric bike startup in California. They had a prototype, but they had no bike. They just want to get their social media going first. And we compared doing this technique, what happened, and they had about 50 followers, and we compared that to the top 5 electric bike companies in the world, and combined, they had 500,000 followers. So we had 50, and they had 500,000, David and Goliath. And when we started this technique, every single week, we had more in every category: page views, impressions, likes, whatever, retweets, in every category on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter than all 5 of them combined. One of the reasons is the electric bike companies kept doing the same thing. All they put out was 10% off when you buy a bike, spring special, 20% off, get a free helmet, stuff nobody cares about. The technique is very simple. And if you try this, it's so simple, it's going to blow your mind, but nobody does it. You can do this on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, but I'll use Twitter as an example. They have a search bar on all these platforms, and you want to search the feed or the subject. So in your case, let's say we've got PTSD as our niche, and let's say we're in Austin, Texas. So we want to search Austin PTSD and search that. And what you're going to find is people in Austin talking about PTSD. There's your community right there. Same thing on Instagram, same thing on Facebook. And so this is how you do it. And you're looking for those search, and you can try different things. If you search yoga, you're going to get a lot of mixed things. If you search Austin yoga or Cleveland yoga or Illinois yoga, whatever it may be, or Ohio, I'm sorry, not Illinois, sorry, Ohio yoga, you might get some of that. You can search Ohio yoga therapy, but this is where the niche comes in, where it's better. If you search Ohio PTSD, if that's your niche, you're going to see the conversation, because one thing we know, people talk about what's going on in their lives. That's what social media is all about. We're looking for that conversation that you can engage. So let's say you find someone near you in Ohio, and they're talking about, something about PTSD. Maybe their brother's suffering, whatever it is. The technique is this: you like what they're saying, and then you comment. And you want to, just like you're talking to somebody for the first time, you could talk to them in general, about that. You're not trying to sell them, hey, I've got yoga therapy. No. Just talk to them about that, and generally ask them a question like, how long has your brother been suffering from PTSD? Or, you could throw something out at them like, ask them a first question, or you could just say something like, your PTSD can be a real struggle. I use yoga therapy as a real benefit. How long has your brother been suffering from PTSD? That guy is then going to come back, right, and answer you. But somebody else might see that, and they'll see yoga therapy, PTSD, and they're going to respond back to that. This is how you create that conversation. I'll give you an example, and I'll go back to the electric bike guys. One person on Twitter had posted a photo of a bicycle lane and cars that parked blocking the bicycle lane. And so I wrote in there, hey, has anybody ever talked to the mayor or the parking department about, making sure these lanes are clear? That comment got 279 people engaging it. And what happened was somebody came in and said, there's no place for these cars to park. Well, then the electric bike people stepped in and said, no. And it turned out 80% were pro-electric bike, 20% were pro-cars. But the point is, this kind of engagement, and it's all positive what we're doing, but this kind of engagement will get people following your social media, talk about your social media, and it ultimately will lead you to getting clients like that guy's brother who's suffering from PTSD. This is the best engagement process for social media. And if you can do that on the big platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and then focus on Craigslist and localized platforms, and you actually will get clients through social media. Now, let's get off of social media for a minute, and let's talk about who is hiring yoga therapists near you. We know there's a challenge of the difference between yoga and yoga therapy, and I'll get into that in a second, but what we found is this. I've had meetings with a primary care company that's rolling out new primary care facilities in Arizona. They're interested in having yoga therapy as an additive in their primary care. I talked to a yoga therapist in Chicago, Illinois, and she's reaching out and finding the same thing about primary care facilities. What we realize and what we know is the primary care clinics, many of them are going to be interested in yoga therapy for 2 reasons. One, they've got a lot of patients that they're seeing. they're overbooked and maybe their recovery is not as speedy as it could be. And they know that yoga therapy can be a benefit for their patients. That's number one. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of the doctors. And two, it can be in a revenue stream for them because they can charge the patients a certain amount. Maybe they pay you $100 per patient, they make $150, whatever that is, how you work that out. But primary care clinics, and you see those driving down the street, are one area that you can approach. And we've seen this in several locations, not those two, I mentioned others, that the primary care centers really are interested generally in having new medical therapies that they can add to their clinic. And it could be at the clinic, or they can recommend their patients, their patients coming in there to you. However you set that up, that is one group that you can reach out to in your area that I know you're going to find they're interested to talk to. They're interested in yoga therapy. What we are doing at My Yoga Network is two things. One, we are out there daily marketing to create a differentiation between yoga and yoga therapy, right? To explain to people what yoga therapy is all about, because it's not happening yet, and we're working on that. But we're also doing corporate outreach. Now, we had another one I was going to say to you, but this is one we're kind of doing already, and it's going to be harder, a challenge for you, is hotels. In June, Hyatt Hotels reached out to us, and we went and gave them a presentation. They are looking at rolling out yoga to all their hotels. Is there a Hyatt near you? Westin Hotels reached out to us about 2 weeks ago. Same thing. And so those are two that came to us. We're going to be reaching out to Sheraton and others because they're looking for new ways to give to their clients besides, free Wi-Fi and a continental breakfast. And they see yoga. Hyatt sees that. So we're working with them to create a model that we can roll out nationwide. And so those on our platform, if you've got a Hyatt, we're going to be able to plug you right into it, or you got a Sheraton or whatever we've got, Westin, we'll be able to plug you into that. But here's the key. What we found is the on-ramp for yoga therapy is yoga, right? Because what is going to happen at the Hyatt is, I know when Ram and us went out there and did the first session at the Hyatt in Los Angeles, they had 8 clients show up. And some of them had a little bit of yoga experience, some of them didn't. But yoga is the on-ramp. Why? Because you can give a yoga session, a 30-minute session at a hotel, you can make money, and then you're going to have a conversation with them. And you're going to talk to them about yoga therapy. And you're going to talk to them about PTSD, if that's your niche. And what you're going to find is, I've got a cousin who was in the military. He's been struggling with PTSD. Now, with the hotels, it may be a client in another city. That's okay. You're helping the other people, yoga therapists. But this is the on-ramp. Let me give you another example. We're reaching out to corporate clients, major chains. I'm not going to tell you their name right now, but you'd know their brand, that have facilities around the country. And our approach to them, and we're getting very positive feedback to them, is to their HR department, because employers are looking for ways to incentivize their employees, improve their work environment. It's hard to find employees. It's hard to retain employees. Yoga and yoga therapy is the answer, because you can tell this HR department, this is what we're saying to these people, is, look, why don't you offer yoga 30 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a week to your employees, depending on how many you've got. And it is a really good way to energize your workforce, to get them working, get them happy. You're going to reduce absenteeism. They're feeling healthier. It's a positive thing. And all of these corporate clients are liking this. They think this is a great idea. Why didn't somebody think about this before, right? It's very basic. But here's the on-ramp. So you can do the same thing in your community. Do you know a company that's got 20, 30, 40 employees? Of course you do. You can reach out to their HR department and say, we're working, and we'll support you on this, and we can help you to give you what you need to get in the door. But you're going to talk to them about yoga at their workplace. You can set up twice a week, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays or Wednesdays, whatever they want to do. And if they've got 20 employees, maybe they have 10 on one day, 10 the next. The on-ramp is yoga. But then when you've got them there, the 10 or 20 employees, you're going to talk to them about yoga therapy, and you're going to mention PTSD or whatever. And then what's going to happen is one of their employees is going to come, and say, my father-in-law has been suffering from PTSD for a long time. I think this would be beneficial for him. Do you have and you can say, yeah, this is a personalized thing. And they're going to say, do you have a business card? So this is the on-ramp. Yoga is the on-ramp that leads to the yoga therapy patients. And I know that both primary care and HR departments in your community with decent size, you can find 20, 30, 40. If they got 5 people, they're not going to probably be interested. Look for companies that have 20 or more employees and reach out to them. You can reach out to them by phone. You can reach out to them by email, that type of thing, and put together a basic thing about the benefits. What we felt is these HR departments are interested in this. No one's blowing this off because they're all struggling to keep their people happy. So these are some of the things, and people that are looking to hire yoga therapists, or at least yoga that leads to yoga therapy, and it's right there near you. So what we're doing at My Yoga Network, as I mentioned, it's creating awareness about the benefits of yoga therapy around the country, okay? We're doing this with corporations. We're doing this online. We're doing this through marketing. We're doing this through outreach to medical things and insurers, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then we're working with individual therapists to grow their practice. You've got 2 options, and it's a no-brainer. You can sign up for free, and we took off the credit card requirement that you had to put, because we're never going to charge you for free, and you can stay for free as long as you want. Okay, and if you've got a free subscription, you're on our platform. You get a landing page, which you can, if you don't have a website, you can use that, but you can share that. You get a landing page for free. You get a free individual one consultation with me, and we'll talk individually about your specific location, your specific niche, how you can do that to get better information. You get invites to these events, and you get our newsletter, all for free. And we're never going to ask for any money. If you do the paid subscription, which is $45 a month, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not really. $45 a month to build a business, not. You get the free, you get the landing page, you get the free consultation, you then get continued consultation. I'm an email away. And if we need to get into a meeting, because if you have a client set up and you say, hey, I talked to this manufacturing company, they've got 40 employees near my city. The HR department thinks this is a great idea. What do I tell them when I walk in the door? There you go. We'll jump on a call and we'll go through this. And what kind of brochure, how should I approach them? We'll jump on a call and I'll explain it to you, and I'll help you individually. This is really about each individual therapist. Also in that, so we're going to support you whatever it takes for $45 to get you clients. And then as the Hyatt and these other clients roll out and come to your city, you're going to have the priority. You're the one we're going to plug in to that because you're in the paid system, okay? You also get access to our library, which has social media posts you can post. You don't got to create the graphics. And if you were going to do that, create that, it would cost you $500 or $1,000 for all those images, because that's what it costs us. You're going to get VIP access to very specific things that we do. Now, we're not doing a lot of VIP, honestly. We're trying to bring everybody on board, giving this out to everybody freely. But there are going to be some VIP events, especially when we're onboarding new clients that are nationwide, as I talked about. The other thing we have is we're creating, and this was because some of the therapists asked for this, we're creating a marketplace on our website. And if you have a paid subscription, whatever course or anything you sell, you can put that on our marketplace. Doesn't cost you, it's free. Whatever you make off that, we're not getting commissions. And the other thing we're going to do is we are going to actually market into your city, whether it's Cleveland, Akron, doesn't matter. We're going to market into your city. So our team, and we have a team here of designers, everything, we're going to be marketing yoga therapy into your city. So that's a benefit for you, where we're kind of doing your social media for you. All that for $45 a month. But let me tell you something else that we're going to have, and this is going to be, because we're working on this and it's confidential, I've got to be a little bit careful what I say here. We are reaching out to the major insurers, okay? There is not an issue with yoga therapy. They don't have a problem with yoga therapy. They're fine with giving yoga therapy to their patients. The challenge is, and this is a challenge for yoga therapists, has to do with the billing. This is the point. And so what we're doing as part of this coordination with the insurance companies is we are going to set up billing. So when XYZ insurance company says we now are, doing yoga therapy nationwide, you're on our platform, you're plugged in, and you start getting clients from that. You don't have to bill the insurance company and wait 60 to 90 days or 30 to 60 days to get paid because they're all slow pay. We will do the billing for you because there is a very detailed process of how you set up your accounting with an insurance company. And the primary cares and doctors know this. It's not like you can just send them an invoice. It doesn't work. So we are going to set up all of the billing. And then when the clients, we'll get the patients, we send them to you, you do the patients, you invoice us, we'll pay you, and then we'll sit around and deal with the insurance companies. But that's next year. But all of these things we're doing are designed for you, the therapist, to grow the yoga therapy awareness and around the country, and is what is making us the #1 source for yoga therapy. So we're excited by it. I think you're seeing what I'm saying. We all know everybody's in the same boat, right? All yoga therapists the same boat. They're trying to get new clients, new patients, and they know there's not a lot of awareness. We're working to fix that. We'll work with you individually. I think that we're seeing very good success. And so, yeah, that's what this presentation is all about. Work the social media, work it local, get your niche. You can reach out to the primary cares in your area, look for companies, reach out to the HR department. Again, check on Craigslist, post on Craigslist, local platforms, and make sure you're subscribed at least to the free one. If you want to step up and go for the paid one, we can work with you further. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're all about. I'll open it up now. If you guys want to share something or ask questions or any ideas, you're free to go ahead.
Thank you, John.
Anybody have any questions?
So how new is this? You just started this network?
We started in May.
We started this in May, but it's not really new because we've been planning this for 2 years. This is why we're getting good results. This is why Hyatt is already reaching out to us. It's why the Westin has already come to us. We didn't reach out to them, they came to us, and others are too. The insurance plan, we've been working on that for a long time, analyzing that. So the platform is new, simply only a couple months old, because we weren't ready. We weren't ready to be able to really help the therapist yet. Now we are, and now we're doing it. So we're looking, really what I need, to be honest with you, I don't need the 2,000 members that IAYT has in the United States. I don't need that. I need 65 therapists around the country in 65 cities that are motivated. That is the 50 state capitals and 15 other major cities that are motivated and want to do this. Because when I have those 65, I then can reach out. I can then get the insurance thing and say we're nationwide. And so that's what we're looking for, really. It's those 65 motivated yoga therapists that really want to build their practice and work with us. The others are welcome. Everybody's welcome, of course, but that's what I need. And I think we'll have that. We'll have that probably in another 2 months, because we've only actually reached out to half the people on the IAYT list. I think we've had 5 subscriptions. Kim was the first person to sign up. Well, she wasn't the first one, but she was the first one to sign up from the outreach email, and that's why you're therapist of the month. So thank you. We've got probably, I think in the next month, probably have about 30 subscriptions. You'll see it as it grows out. But yeah, I mean, it's new, but the process of getting here, it's been 2 years in the making, and we're seeing that developmental phase, all that outreach we did prior to the launch, is paying off. Yeah.
So do you have any qualification, do you do anything to verify the qualifications of a yoga therapist to make sure that they have the certifications, the qualifications, etc.?
Well, what we do is when they subscribe to our platform, we check out, do they have a website? Do they do these things? Okay, so for right now, the answer is, are we doing any certification? No. As part of that insurance thing, we then will. Now,
she's asking if we check the certifications of the people who go.
No, I'm saying, no, we're not doing that. All we do is to get on our platform. What we do is look at to make sure that they've got a presence, okay? That they've got a website or they've got something that they're a real person, okay? So that's all we're doing at this stage. As we move forward and move into the insurer phase, then we will have a real, we will look at the IAYT and other certifications and do an actual interview if we haven't met with them before to make sure that they're qualified to be part of that network. But for the actual platform,
Okay, okay,
Vic-
that makes,
Vicky, most of the people that we are reaching out to are IAYT certified. So to answer your question, it's not open to you know, people who are just yoga teachers, for example. But definitely we're looking for yoga therapists who have certifications.
and then the insurance company platform, that sounds amazing. Is that gonna be an additional fee, do you think?
from us,
Yeah,
no. If you, we have no plans for that. If you're, it's the paid subscription. So for $45 a month, along with the other things, you're going to be part of that network.
mhm,
And you know, we will get a fee from the insurer. So let's say, for example, that you charge, we agree with them that the therapist will get $150 an hour, example. We may make $75. I don't know what it is. I'm just throwing out numbers, so don't hold me to this. But we may make $75 on top of that for the billing process, essentially, and coordinating all of that. So, but no, I think that number one, it's going to be a lot more than you normally charge, and you'll be making, but there's not going to be any fee to you at all. No.
okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not that's coming up for me, but if I did have further questions, I obviously can reach out to the email that I have.
You can. My email, by the way, is john@myyoganetwork.com, john@myyoganetwork.com. And also, if you do the free subscription, the free one, I have my calendar there, and everybody that does the free one gets a 1 hour or 45-minute, whatever, personal, just you and I talking about your specific location. You're sitting and kind of brainstorming ideas. You get that even with the free subscription. So you could, if you've got some other ideas or things, you know, take advantage of that.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim, did you already schedule with John? Have you guys had a chance to talk yet?
No, we haven't had a chance to talk yet. I guess I'm new to this whole process and really wasn't sure how it all went. I just had gotten this in my email and love the fact that I could be on a registration for people to follow or to find me.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to circle back with and definitely have a conversation with him. One of the questions that I'm sitting here thinking of and is the niche, right? So all of my clients that I have have a variety of challenges, and I actually really like that, you know, kind of keeps me on my toes in terms of investigating, you know, like a gentleman fell and broke his pelvis in 3 places and is trying to rehab from that, right? Met him on a hiking group, just started talking about yoga therapy. All of my other clients have come from me being, again, I'm sorry for my dog, being a yoga teacher and explaining what I do, you know, or just introducing myself as also being a yoga therapist. And so I'm just kind of like, I love that idea and I love that search, you know, suggestion that John told us about in terms of finding and that starting that conversation and then finding your clientele. But I know I'm kind of rambling, but I guess what I'm wanting to know is like, how can I just don't want just one kind of client, right? I like the challenge of having, you know, someone with an eating disorder or, you know, a past trauma or, you know, rehabilitating from a knee replacement. So that's my question. I don't know if that could be something you can help us with.
No, I can answer that. So it's like, yeah, you want a diversity of patients and your clients, and you're going to get a diversity. What I'm talking about, though, is from a marketing standpoint. It's generally better to focus on one area. So if you focus, example, on the PTSD, you're good at PTSD, but that's going to get you other people because the person who has PTSD knows someone who's got an eating disorder. Something, you know, it's really more from a marketing standpoint because it's very tough to market generally. And so I would, you can do what you're doing. You don't have to do it that way, but I think my experience, and this is 22 years, is if you focus your marketing on a specific niche, maybe 40% is the niche. The other is other parts of that. It's other types of therapy, right? It's other types of thing. It's not just the PTSD, but by the PTSD would get you in the door, so to speak. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Yes.
Yeah, on your profile, you can definitely list all the different specialties that you like to work with. I think that there is something though about at least putting that down, on paper, like, because I think people who are really looking for help, people who are really ready to spend money and to, work with someone, they want to know that their specialty, and especially now, still when yoga therapy is kind of vague and not well understood, they may not, they might think that, oh, this person just wants to stretch me out, or they're not going to give me breathing exercises, or I don't know if they, if they know anything about my condition. So I think that would be something that, we can bring traffic to your page, and I was actually looking, I think that people are already landing on your profile. I think I saw like 4 people in the last week or something on the analytics, like somehow they actually landed on your page. So I think that that's something that your uniqueness. And the other thing is that on the profile, I can help you figure out how to edit it more as well. You can add pictures, you can even add video and things like that. So we can help you build out your profile so that you can really speak to whoever you want to work with, and or at least like share those different populations.
Right.
Yeah, as a yoga teacher, I really liked it when I had different people with different various abilities that I work with as well. So I get that. Yeah, but becoming a specialist in one thing at least is, and getting those feedback and reviews from people who you've helped with specific things. That's also very powerful, I think, for directly reaching out to that population. Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions or any more, Kim?
But Kim, yeah, I think you should try to talk with John, because he's gonna give you 30 minutes of his time, and he can speak to you directly about how to strategize. That's the best resource that we have right now, one-on-one.
Yeah. So yeah, we again, we're building a community here. This is our 3rd Grow Your Therapy Practice event, and we're each one is a different number. We're seeing a decent turnout. It's going to grow and grow and grow, and all the things that we're doing, it's building My Yoga Network into the #1 source for yoga therapy. But and I don't say this funny, I say this sincerely. My Yoga Network is your yoga network. That's our slogan, and it's because we're doing these things to help you and all yoga therapists to thrive and to grow this space. Because at the end of the day, we're all about helping people, right? That's what we're about. And the more people that are aware of what we do, the more outreach we can get out to people, we know we're going to help them. There's a lot of people right now struggling, with back pain, PTSD, whatever, and yoga therapy can help them, and they don't know it. There's people down the street from you. If they knew of what you were doing, it could help them. They don't know it. And so this is what it's all about, building this community to grow awareness, help each other, help patients. And that's what we're all about. So if there's no more questions, again, if you've got anything else comes up, my email is john@myyoganetwork.com, and Ram is Ram, R-A-M, @myyoganetwork.com. You can reach out to us. Yeah, I appreciate your time this morning and wish you guys a great day and Godspeed.
One thing.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm on the email that I got. It says get in touch, www.myyoganetwork. Do I just click there and then that takes me to the platform where I can sign up and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Yes, if you just if you look in the top right corner, there's a add your practice or join something like that. Like let me see. It says
Register underneath the email, you've got the www My Yoga Network. Just click on that, and then when you go onto that platform, you'll see it says register your practice.
Okay.
That's all.
yeah,
yeah.
it's very easy. You just create a password and put your email in there, and you'll get the link to have a call with John right there.
No problem.
We'll get you.
So yeah, we appreciate it, and yeah, I think we're in good shape. Is there any other thing? Thank you all for your time, and we'll talk again soon. And we're all working together to make this a success for everybody. So thank you, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Tell your friends.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.